Hey guys, Matt here. Alright, we're now on to the next phase in the chestnut development, and all of the catkins have fallen off. It was aided by a nice big windstorm that we had yesterday, but there's just a few of the bisexual catkins left, but just about everything is off of the tree. And you can really, this is the time when you can really, obviously you can tell what's left is all of the small burrs now, and you can go along and see how many potential chestnuts, you know, what your chestnut crop is going to look like for the year. And this is a Dunstan here, and it's going to have a pretty good year, hopefully, looks like. So last year it was kind of a down year, which was kind of a odd year for it. Usually Dunstans, one good thing about a Dunstan, people like to talk bad about them, but in my experience, one good thing about them is they're pretty reliable trees as far as producers. So if you want to plant them out in the woods for deer, for wildlife, you can, once they start to get to a producing age, like this tree here, this tree is about 12 years old or so. They generally produce every year, and they produce a pretty decent sized crop every year. But last year, I don't know, we didn't get a lot of rain at the right time or something. It was kind of a down year for it, which was kind of unusual. But for the most part, they're pretty reliable trees, and they produce a pretty decent crop. So if what you're wanting to do is just plant for wildlife, you know, there's people that talk bad about them. There's people that like to, you know, offer their suggestions, and that's fine. There are, I think, a lot better alternatives if out there in some Chinese varieties, especially if you would like to try to eat some of them yourself as well. But just for strictly a wildlife tree, Dunstan are kind of hard to beat if you can get them at the right price. You know, Walmart sells them during the spring and during the fall, and if you can get them on clearance at Walmart, like right now, I went to my Walmart, they've got them marked down to $10 a tree. You can't hardly beat that price for what you get in return. I mean, those trees at Walmart are at least 3 years old. Where are you going to be able to find a 3-year-old tree, chestnut tree, $10? And they're in pretty good, decent shape. I mean, they're just clearancing them out, try to get rid of them. So anyway, I'll stop my rant. This wasn't intended to be a rant on Dunstan trees, but anyway, right now, like I said before, is a good time after the catkins have dried up and fallen off to go around and look and just kind of look and see what your crop is going to look like for the year. So I can see right now, you know, there's some right there on a low hanging branch. That's also kind of unusual for this tree. Most Dunstans, at least what I've noticed, like to put on their nuts about the top half of the tree. At least this one has. See, there's some right up there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to put it right in the middle of the screen so you can. And there's a bunch right up there in the very top. And sometimes that becomes a problem, because I've also noticed that this tree doesn't like to let loose of its burrs for some reason. So this thing will hold on to its burrs for a long time. I guess maybe since this tree's, you know, I've got it here planted right next to my house, so I like to grab these things early and then store them in my fridge. So, you know, I've made me a picker so I can reach up there in the top of the tree to get at the burrs. I suppose, you know, if you were just to let them sit there in the tree, you know, they probably eventually get dry enough and fall out or maybe even open enough to where the chestnuts would fall out. I don't know. I always pick them earlier and don't give them an opportunity to do that. So I've talked about that before in some of my other videos. But anyway, let's walk over here. That's a thing you gotta be cognizant of. Some burrs or some trees, the burrs on some trees, it seems to me, and maybe somebody with a little bit more experience than I have can talk about this, but it seems like some trees, the burrs on some trees tend to open more than they do on others. Like that Dunstan that I have right there, the burrs don't seem to open quite as much as the ones on this tree right here. So that's another thing. And obviously you don't know if that's good or not until you've already got them planted and into the ground and then they're producing. So these trees right here, I've got several in my orchard. The nuts that I replant, I always just replant the nuts from the trees that I know came from trees where the burrs open, if I'm going to replant them for wildlife purposes. So anyway, that's another thing to consider. This tree is also loaded this year. As you can see, it's got burrs all over it. Way up there. This tree also puts them on about the top half of the tree. I just call this tree a Chinese tree because I really don't know the lineage. There's a bunch of burrs on it though this year. It's always been a real good producer, as you can see. It's a lot. It's a lot bigger tree than the Dunstan over there. It's a couple years older. You can get a good shot right there. Just how many are on it. So it's going to have a good year this year. So I'll get a lot of nuts, but it's not a late dropper, so it's going down here too. Now this is getting into my late droppers, and these burrs, if we can even see them, are going to be real tiny because they're later in development. And let's see here, see if we can find one. I hadn't even looked, so to see if there are any beforehand. So here's some right here. Here's a cluster, and see how much smaller than they are comparatively to the other ones that are early. I know this is already an 8-minute video, and I'm actually trying to hurry up because it's about to come a storm on us right here. You can see my lightning meter's going off, says it just detected lightning 8 miles away. Here's another of my late droppers, and it's absolutely loaded this year. Burrs are about the same development wise as the last tree. And we'll go over just real quick to my latest dropper before it absolutely comes a storm. If I can get over here through all of this water, I'm telling you, it's already been an unusual spring and early summer for us. We've had too much rain already. I don't know if I need to say that out loud too much, because it could stop at any day and we won't get any. See if I can find you. Oh, here's one to show you just the size difference. There you go. There's what they look like on the road. Just got a real burst of cold air. The rain's not far away. I'm gonna have to go. Alright guys, so just wanted to give you an update on the status of my trees. All right, if you have any questions, comments, please like and subscribe, and I'll do my best to, or leave the comments down below. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.